My name is Gary Rucinski. I live in Newton, and I'm running in the Democratic primary for the U.S. House of Representatives from the 4th Congressional District. The reason I'm running is because I think we need more members of Congress who can make climate change their headline issue. We don't have enough members of Congress who do that, and if we're going to get the change we need on climate, we're going to have to change the Congress to do it. Members of Congress, when they go to Washington, they have 2 or 3 items that they're going to really passionately pursue. So I think about Elizabeth Warren, who wakes up every morning wondering how she's going to tame Wall Street and how she's going to make the economy work for everybody. We need members of Congress who are going to do that with climate change. When I get to Washington, I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to ask myself the question, what do I need to do today in order to advance legislation that's going to reverse climate change? Joe Kennedy's not there. It took me 17 years to get to this point. We don't have another 17 years to wait. There's no question that we have a lot of battles to wage in Washington, especially with Republicans being in control of 3 branches of government. No question about that whatsoever. But we could win all of those battles, and if we don't address climate change, none of that will have been worth it. We will win the battles and lose the war. Really, there are just 3 things we need to do. We need to reduce emissions, we need to sequester excess carbon that's already in the atmosphere, and in case we need to deploy measures of last resort in order to artificially control the temperature, we need to do research into geoengineering. The first one of reducing emissions is actually going to benefit everybody economically. I've been involved with an organization called Citizens Climate Lobby that proposes what's called the revenue neutral carbon tax, where we put a gradually increasing fee on fossil fuels and return 100% of proceeds to households on a flat basis. All economic studies have shown that this is going to grow the economy, grow household incomes, and reduce emissions. So why wouldn't we want to do that? The second one of pulling carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, pulling greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere, is going to result in a healthier food supply and a more resilient food supply. And the third one, doing research into geoengineering, is going to train a whole new generation of physicists, chemists, biologists, what have you. So these won't cost us anything. They will benefit us. They're win-win-win all the way down. I believe that with regenerative agriculture and rangeland management, as well as the revenue neutral carbon fee to reduce emissions, that we could actually get back to pre-industrial greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere within this century. I hope people will vote for me because climate change is the existential threat that we face as a country, as a species. And unless we do something soon, our children and our grandchildren and future generations are going to have to deal with the worst effects of climate change, and they are dire. I have a PhD in physics, and I can't run away from the inevitability of the scientific predictions with respect to what will happen to our planet if we don't do something. So I hope that people will vote for me, taking that into consideration. I've spent the last 7 months running for this office, and I've been out around the 4th District, meeting voters, collecting signatures, greeting you at farmers markets. And I know that there's a lot of pent-up interest in seeing something done about climate change. I see it in your faces. I see it in the things that you say to me. When I introduce myself to you and I get to the part where I say climate change, you say, I'll sign, thank you, I'm so glad you're doing this. I hope that you'll remember that when you walk into the voting booth and choose to act on climate rather than kicking the problem down the road one more legislative session.